Riss, was that you? Do you think I could call you back? I'm actually in the middle of something right now. I need to talk to you about something. It's really important. Seriously? It's important! What's up? So I've just been really stressing out because I don't know if I'm eating healthy. That's what you're stressing about right now? Can you please help me out, Riss? I think I can help you out. What should I be eating to lose weight? Does it matter what I eat, even if I work out every day? How can I enjoy my diet and stick to it long term? How do I even know if I have the right diet? If you are wondering any of these questions, you came to the right place. Hey friends, it's Riss, and today we are going to be diving into all these different questions, but mainly we're going to be focusing on what it means to eat healthy and what that looks like, how you can really transform a diet into a lifestyle and be able to stick with it long term for overall health and longevity. Let's get right into it. For this video, my main goal is to really figure out how I can communicate to you guys in a simple way about what healthy eating really is, because I know there's a lot of information out there on what foods are good, what foods are bad, what foods make you fat, what foods make you lose fat, all this kind of stuff, and it's a lot of information. And through my experiences, I kind of boiled down to some simple things here and there, but I am not a nutritionist or dietitian, so please just keep that in mind. This is just kind of from my own experience and what I've learned on my own. The first thing we're going to be talking about is the law of thermodynamics. So when it comes to weight loss, you can only lose weight if you are in a calorie deficit. So the universe is this giant space where energy cannot be created or destroyed. Can't break the laws of science, okay? So why I'm telling you this is because if you're trying to lose weight and you're taking in more energy than you're expending, you're not going to be able to lose weight. So ultimately, what weight loss boils down to is you can only lose weight when you are consuming less calories than you're burning. So when calories out is larger than calories in. That's the only way that you're going to be able to burn fat. That's the only way that you can lose the weight. There's a couple ways you can make your calories out larger than your calories in, which is number one, eating less calories. So just making that calories in number lower, or you can make that calories out number higher by burning more calories, whether that's through cardio, HIIT workouts, exercising, running, all that kind of stuff. Those are the things that would affect that equation. But if you are trying to lose weight, you most definitely have to be in a calorie deficit. The second point I want to talk about is working out. So just because you work out all the time, that doesn't mean that you can just eat whatever the heck you want and everything is fine. If you tend to do a lot of cardio, so you're burning a lot of calories, you'll be able to have a higher caloric intake than somebody who is not as active, because you'll be able to burn more calories while being able to keep your weight off or keep it at your maintenance weight, whatever you're going for. Even if you are working out and you are burning a ton of calories, you still have to eat healthy and eat well, which we'll get into more about in a sec. The amount of calories that you're burning really depends on whether you're doing cardio workouts or you're doing weightlifting workouts, because when you're doing cardio, you tend to burn a lot more calories than you do as compared to weightlifting. But I actually was able to lose the weight that I lost mainly through weightlifting. And you're like, how does that make sense? I thought you just said, cardio increases your calories out, which is how you burn fat, right? Well, actually, what happens is when you weightlift, you build muscle, and muscle actually burns more calories than fat. So the more muscle you have on your body, it causes something called BMR to increase. So your basal metabolic rate increases, which means when you're sitting around doing nothing, you're burning more calories than you would have if you didn't have as much muscle. Now my basal metabolic rate is higher, so I'm burning more calories than I was before I had the muscle mass, which helps that equation out quite a bit. Now the third thing we're going to talk about is low-calorie dense foods. So like I said before, the only way you can burn fat and lose weight is if you're in a calorie deficit. And it is really tough to be able to be in a calorie deficit because you get these hunger signals and hormones, specifically ones like ghrelin, and these are just constantly like attacking you, saying like, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. And it sucks. I've been there. It's really hard to have the willpower to constantly get past those. But focusing on eating foods that are high in protein, high in fiber, and are low in calories will actually fill you up quite a bit and curb those hunger hormones a lot. Foods that are like fruits, vegetables, ones that are high in protein, fiber, because protein actually burns more calories when your body digests it when compared to fats and carbohydrates. So your body's actually burning more calories while it's digesting protein than the other two. So some examples of some low calorie dense foods. I know a huge one is like lettuce is great. Lettuce is extremely low calorie. You can have a whole bowl of lettuce with tons of veggies. That's very, very low calories, but you're eating a lot of volume. So when you're having a lot of volume and a lot of fiber, especially, lettuce has a lot of water in it too, it actually fills your stomach up quite a bit. Things that are not low calorie dense foods, that are high calorie dense foods, are a lot of processed foods, simple carbohydrates. So things like desserts, cookies, ice cream, cake, white bread, white flour, white sugar, all that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying they're bad and you should never eat them. I'm just saying that when you're trying to be in a calorie deficit, when most of your diet is made up of those foods, it's going to be a lot harder for you to be in that deficit. So really focus on low calorie dense foods. So foods that you can have a higher volume of, like vegetables, even just making simple substitutions from like white tortillas to like a chickpea tortilla, which you get protein in. I know I get these chickpea tortillas and one of them is like 120 calories as opposed to regular white tortillas, which can be almost 200 calories for just one. So making those substitutions where you can have the lower calorie option with higher protein is going to go a long way. The fourth point I want to make is it is not sustainable long-term to completely cut certain foods out of your life completely, because I tried that a lot at the beginning. Like a huge mistake I made was I was like, okay, like I remember giving up chocolate for like a month and then I'd go back to it and I'd give it up for another month, and I just thought that was gonna be like my magic key to losing all the weight, but this just made me crave it way more. So basically, when you're thinking about a diet, you want to think about something long term, because what happens is, you might change your whole diet for a couple of months, which is great, and you'll lose the weight and it'll be great. But then, once you go back to your old habits, that weight is going to come on quicker than it came off. So you have to think long term in the future. Am I going to be able to eat like this for the rest of my life? It has to be something that you love. It has to be a lifestyle that you really enjoy. The fifth point I wanted to make, you must have a balance. So the majority of the time you should focus on eating foods like vegetables, fruits, protein, foods that are high in protein, as well as complex carbohydrates. So, the grains that are high in fiber, going for things like quinoa as opposed to just regular white pasta, or maybe like chickpea pasta or something like that. And the way I think about it is the majority of the time you want to be eating foods that provide you with some sort of benefit. I really like to link food with fuel. Food is fuel. So when I'm eating something like a Kit Kat bar, for example, which I love Kit Kats, I think to myself, like, what good is this doing for my body right now? It's not really providing me any vitamin B. It's not really giving me any protein, and maybe not the best for me. Whereas if I eat something like an orange, I'm like, this is giving me vitamin C. This is giving me fiber. This is gonna, boost my energy, boost my immune system, all these different benefits. So foods that you can link benefits to in your mind that actually have some nutritional value are the ones that you should be trying to eat the majority of the time, because to live an overall healthy life, you got to eat overall healthy. The sixth point I want to make for you guys is to be able to keep on eating the foods that you love and enjoy. Try and find healthy substitutions for them. You could say, hey Riz, like what's a great healthy substitute for this food? And I'll help you out, help a sister out. I actually posted a video about my favorite pancake recipe using oats, banana, cottage cheese, so feel free to check that out. And another one is I really like pizza. I'm sure you guys like pizza as well. It's so good, but it's very high in calories. It's got a lot of oil, a lot of grease, you know? So what I like to do is I like to get these protein wraps. They are actually made of chickpeas. They're like 120 calories for one, and I have, I think, like 10 to 20 grams of protein per wrap. And so what I do is I put it in the oven, I let it crisp up, and I put my tomato sauce on there, a little bit of cheese, some veggies, some pepperoni or ham, and then there's my pizza. Think about the foods that you love and try and think about how you can enjoy them in a healthy way. The seventh and the last point I want to make for you guys is that you will generally know, believe it or not, if you are eating healthy. So if you're thinking like, I don't know if I'm on the right track, I don't know if I have a healthy diet. Your body's very, very smart. If something feels sore, you'll feel pain there and you know something's up. Similar to how you're eating. If you're feeling tired, lethargic, you're feeling like super, lazy and like, have no energy, then I think you might need to take a second look at your diet and what you're eating. Chances are when you have a nutritious, healthy diet, you're gonna feel like you have a lot of energy and you're gonna feel great. Of course, some days you might not have any energy, that's all good. Look overall. If overall you're feeling happy, you're excited, you're energized, you're not feeling like super, super tired, then you probably have a healthy diet. But if you're feeling like a huge spike in energy and then a huge drop throughout the day, like, after you eat a meal, a couple hours after, if you feel like a huge lack of energy and you feel super tired, then maybe your diet isn't so great. Because what happens is if you have a high sugar diet, high in like simple carbohydrates and processed foods, what ends up happening is you get a huge increase in energy because your insulin levels spike, and then you get a huge drop when those levels come back down. And so that I've noticed, like if I have like, pizza, for example, for lunch, literally around like 2 or 3 o'clock, like I'll want to sleep, like I'll be really tired. Or same with candy, you get that huge like sugar high and then you just like crash after, because what comes up, it's got to come back down. So if you're having these kinds of ups and downs in energy, you really need to evaluate what kinds of foods are you eating. And if on the contrast, if you notice that your energy levels are pretty balanced throughout the day, you feel like you have a lot of energy and there's not significant changes throughout the day, then overall your diet is probably a good one for you. Also know that you have the right diet if you feel like you really enjoy the foods that you're eating. So I know a big mistake I made when I first started, I tried all these different diets, and when I first wanted to lose weight, and I would literally, like 2 hours before lunch, I would dread it because I just like hated, like I would have this like nasty like kale salad with like no dressing and like some apple slices in it, and it was disgusting. And I remember like sitting there like 2 hours before, literally dreading eating lunch. It was not an enjoyable experience for me. And what would end up happening is I would do that for like 2 weeks and I'd be like, all right, like pizza, here I come. And it just was not sustainable for me at all. So if you're genuinely like dreading the foods that you're eating and they're not fun for you, you don't enjoy them, then that's not a good sign. You gotta figure out what is gonna work best with your day-to-day lifestyle, and you gotta look forward to the foods that you're eating. The last kind of indicator is if your performance isn't hindered, in the gym. So like I find, like if I have been eating really crappy, not good foods, like I will not be able to lift as much in the gym. Like forget cardio, that goes out the door, like no way in hell I'm doing that. So whereas if I'm eating like foods that energize me and the foods that I enjoy and that are healthy and nutritious, then I find that I do really well in the gym, because honestly what you eat really does have a direct impact on your activity, your gym performance, and all that kind of stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you were able to learn a little bit about healthy eating. If you have any specific questions, because this was pretty general video with some tidbits here and there, but if you have specific questions that you want to learn more about, let me know and I'll make a separate video about it. Comment that down below. If you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope that you guys have a killer day. Bye.